Hello, hello dear friends. We are in Quantum Education with Education 3000. I am Noemi Paimal with Juan Villegas. Hello Juan.
Hello, thank you.
How are you?
Very good, very good.
You told me we have an incredible subject today, don't we?
Yes, it's a very interesting subject, yeah. At least for me, yeah.
I heard it's about morphogenetic fields. What's that? What's about?
So this is a concept that was developed in the recent years. And the idea behind it is that they did some experiments where they found some results that it really like surprised the scientists. So they started to speculate that there was this field of information around the planet. But I'm gonna go to the initial experiments to show a little bit what was happening.
Please, please.
So basically, I think it was in the 1940s that some scientists were starting to, they were developing molecules and crystals that they didn't previously exist on Earth. So they were creating new compounds, synthesizing different chemicals. And when they wrote the scientific reports, so they wrote like the whole laboratory experiment and everything, and then they put maybe something like, after 1 hour, we started to observe some crystals of this molecule beginning to crystallize. So later on, other scientists were repeating the experiment in other universities, and then they found like, no, actually, yes, the report was good and everything, but I found that for me, the crystals, they started to show up after 45 minutes only.
Oh, less time.
Less time. Then other scientists there were finding like, no, actually in 30 minutes, the crystals started to show up.
Wow.
So they were seeing how like when this crystal was first synthesized on the planet, it was taking a certain amount of time. And the more it was repeated, the experiment, then it was taking less time. So different experiments like this started to, I don't know, surprise, like for some scientists, they were like, something is happening here. It was exact same setup and it's taking less time, what's going on? There was also another experiment that it's quite famous at the moment. They call it like the 100 monkey theory. So there was these researchers, some biologists maybe, that they were working with monkeys in some island. And they were teaching these monkeys like a particular way to crack a nut or to open a fruit. It was like a new technique that they didn't know before. So the monkeys, they teach each other and they were using this technique. And after some time, the scientists, they found that in other islands where nobody had gone there, no monkey had gone there, no researchers had gone there, the monkeys spontaneously, they started to use that technique as well. So again, they were scratching their heads like, what's going on here? And then this together with there is like a historical trend that technologies often appear simultaneously in different parts of the planet. Since the ancient times. Scientists are developing the same invention, the same theory at the same time. So there was this British scientist, Rupert Sheldrake, who was working in Cambridge, and he came up with this concept called morphogenetic field. That there is like a field of information. Maybe we don't know how it's encoded, whether this is like electromagnetic or in the DNA, we don't know. But there was this field of information around the planet that he speculated that whenever something was discovered, then it was sort of like uploaded to that internet, and then it became easier for other people around the world to download this information.
Like a cosmic internet.
Yes, something like this. So it's like a natural internet around the planet where everything that we develop, we evolve, we learn, it gets uploaded there, and then it becomes easier for other people to download it. So he decided to do some experiments, like to kind of like test if there was some validity to this. And in the University of Amsterdam, he decided to try to where he set up this experiment where the students that were going to an exam, and some students will enter the exam 20 minutes later. They didn't get any information from the students that were already there or nothing. So they came 20 minutes later, and what they found was that the students that came to the exam a little bit after, they got much better results, because there were other students that they had previously been thinking about the questions, and some of them had already found the answers. So maybe they were already uploading that information. So the ones that came after had it a little bit easier.
Wow.
And it was
so guys, if you have an exam, go with the second batch.
Yes. He also tested it with crosswords in the newspaper.
Sorry?
He also tested this with crosswords in the newspaper. So he found that it's always 20-30% easier to do the crossword from the day before.
Oh my God, of
because
course.
It has already been solved by many people.
That's amazing.
So the answers are already in the air.
Wow. And this is called morpho what?
Morphogenetic field.
For morphogenetic fields.
So this can be a revolution for the way we see education.
Yes, it's like we are in in the starting steps. I mean, it's an entire revolution, quantum revolution.
Yes, and I think that we need to understand and research more about this, like how this works and all the details, but it looks like there is something to this. And if there is something to this, I think we need to encourage children a lot more, support them to get this connection, to download these ideas that are already there. And in my work with children, I have seen it many times, like when you ask, a children brings a topic about the universe, about time, about certain situations, something that they genuinely are interested in. And if you bounce the question back to them, like, okay, but why do you think is this? What do you think about it? Like, really, I care about your opinion. What do you think? Often they are downloading like some theories to explain this, that in some cases I am like, wow, you're talking about this philosophy, you're talking about this thing in their own words, in children's words. So you can see that they are like bringing ideas that are brilliant. It's like, oh, you're talking, this thing is Aristotle was saying this, or Plato was saying that. So they are connecting to that human field of knowledge that often we ourselves don't know. So we can judge it. We can say like, oh, you're talking nonsense. But they're really connecting to something. And they have like the same brilliance inside that any genius has.
Juan, I know a school in Peru, it's called Asiri. And there was two things. For history, she said, bring stuff from the time you want to study, even archaeology, if you can, or pictures. And the children, they tap into it, and then they will talk about this civilization very easily. They will tap into it. And then she was doing another class. It was by dancing, so you could dance song of 2 centuries ago or from Egypt a long time ago. And then through the dancing and the sound, they will tap into it and know the feeling of the people at that time. It is very cool. It's like philosophy, energetic history classes. It was very cool. I took the class and it was amazing, amazing.
Yes, so I think that if we put together the concept of the morphogenetic field, no? So there is this internet of information around us. We have the concept of like epigenetic memories, like all the emotional information that we have encoded from our ancestors in our DNA. And then we begin to understand also that every time you express an emotion, there is like a whole like mindset and feeling and like thoughts and ideas that are encoded in that emotion. And when someone connects to a piece of art directly emotionally, it's not uncommon that you can get like images, feelings of how that person was and on how do they live. Or so every archaeological piece, it's encoded with all this. Like we have this internet of ideas, we have our own personal genetic memories of those times that they come through our imagination. It's not like facts, but everybody has like this thing that they can imagine other times, and we don't know where this come from. And then there is this like direct connection to the piece of art. So we can redesign so many educational protocols to really like take advantage of these mechanisms that we have, like to really learn a lot more directly and to really get the juice of all this.
That's amazing. And if you are not able to go directly, we can go to special places like what they call sacred places, or that's like virtual library, or stones, like Stone Age, or special places in the Andes and all around the world. And they have those library as well. So that's another way to tap into it.
Yes, and I think that in this coming century, there is so much research from the scientific point of view to be done onto all this, like how these things actually work. You know, how is the information encoded? Like, is it, for example, like the whole body has a lot of water and a lot of like silica, it's like quartz. The stones have a lot of quartz. We know that the stones can like register, the crystals can register different electromagnetic resonances. The brain is working electromagnetically. So what is the mechanism? There must be something like that, how this works. Like the indigenous people are talking a lot about this, that you enter into a meditative state and you touch a particular object, a crystal, and they get images and they get like memories and things. How is this working? So, I mean, that's one question, how is this working? And the other question is like, how can we really explore this and learn and play with all this?
Yeah, and linked to education, because this is really a beautiful revolution and it opens infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah, so I think like the whole like scientific paradigm is, I see like something that we are in a transitional period where we have forgot how to tap into our energetic and emotional potentials. So we have been like working so much with our mind, with like our strategies and our logical thinking, that there is a little bit of a transition to fully trust that there are things we don't understand, that there are these fields we don't fully understand yet, that they can have a beneficial impact on us, like they can really help us. So I see some of this scientific thing, not something to go like too mental about, but something that can give us a little bit of an understanding and a trust that, okay, there is something to all this. And if anything, there is more to research and more questions to ask and more to explore.
Yeah, plus there is a pedagogue, he's called George Losanov, Suggestopedia from Bulgaria, and he said there is a reservoir, I don't know in Spanish, reservoir in French.
Deposito.
A what?
In Spanish, like deposito.
Deposito. In English?
In English, a reservoir, yeah.
Reservoir. And you can tap into it. And he said that 15 years ago. And he was using that for both health and education. And then Shishida from Japan, he was always saying, knowledge is inside, you tap into it. So they already paved for us some ideas and tools because they did implement all that. That's very, very, very interesting. Oh, we could talk hours. Let me see the time. We could talk hours on that. We will do more programs, definitely. I think the next program is, let's see, so it's linked to that. Transform education from the perspective, the quantum perspective. So next time we will transform everything, right?
Yeah.
And remember, do your research, Rupert Sheldrake, morphogenetic fields, and please research. I mean, it's not because we say it. I mean, it has to be research and thought and implement. It's an all adventure. We invite you and we do it together. It's called co-creation. Do you have any final message, Juan, please?
Well, something that I wanted to share before, like just a quick thing that I find for me is also very important. With this idea of the morphogenetic fields, if there is something to this, it's very exciting because it also brings like a sense of interconnectedness. It's like a sense of like group work, that whatever obstacle you have in your life, there are thousands, millions of people with the same obstacle. If you solve that obstacle, it's going to bring a positive effect. Millions of people might be able to get that inspiration easier. All of a sudden, they're just going for a walk and it comes to you. Wow. So that's the thing that I find it very exciting to bring this sense again of interconnectedness, of community work. We are working this ginormous puzzle together.
That's like a beautiful plan.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Juan. That's beautiful. We keep this here in mind and in heart.
Okay, so we'll discuss more and
definitely. You are more than welcome anytime. And see you guys on the next video. Thank you, Juan. Take care.
Thank you.
All the best for you.
Same.